Hi there, this is Jo Wintrott. I show you how to rock your personal brand. So today is my very first, and I'm very excited, interview with one of my personal brand rock stars. This lady here is one of my true rock stars. This is one of my first series of interviews. I am interviewing a number of rock stars, in my opinion, who rock their personal brands, and they're people that I know and are people I've met along the way. And there'll be some epic SME and founders of businesses like this lady here, and there will also be some celebrities and just various other people that I have met along my way who have stayed in my mind, and I thought, wow, boy, they know what their personal brand is, boy, they rock it, and I need to share their stories, because this is all about you listening, watching, being inspired, and just finding and hearing something inside of you that just gets a bit tingly when you hear someone's story and you think, do you know what am I doing in my life? What is my purpose? Why aren't I doing something more? And perhaps I could do that. That sounds like something I would like to do. Or, why don't I sound excited about what I do? Because we should live with purpose. Definitely. We should live with passion. And when we rock our personal brand, when we define and enjoy our essence, our experience and our expression, we can live life with true fulfilment. And in the words of Deepak Chopra, being yourself is the most energetic thing you can do as a human, because we try and be someone else a lot. So find what you want to do, dig deep inside, and live life with true purpose and passion. So I am thrilled, proper thrilled, to introduce to you today Lottie Moore. And Lottie and I go way back a little bit. Hi Lottie, thanks for coming in. So I just totally forgot the fact that actually we're sat in my car. Okay, so this is my other car. Obviously my other car is a DB9 Aston Martin,
of course,
currently in the garage. But anyway, just
and we
for
wouldn't
now,
want to show off.
Exactly. Well, I thought the first one, don't want to be in the posh car, don't want to put people off.
Yeah,
People might switch off, go, oh well, I didn't have a car like that, I'm not going to watch that. Okay, glad we got that out of the way. So the reason why we're in my car is because so many people, but not this lady here for sure, but so many people when they're interviewed, they clam up a bit and they get a bit, when you're doing screens and you're doing like FaceTime and whatever, and people look at the camera and they they feel unnatural, and therefore they don't speak naturally. You and I are very used to camera work, so not bothered. I think about all my mates watching and I think, well, they'll be laughing at me, I'm just going to let them enjoy it, whatever. Absolutely. And so I find it very enjoyable and easy. But a lot of people don't, a lot of people clam up. So all my interviews for my rock stars of personal brand are going to be either in a car or somewhere random, but not just the average, because I like to make my own rules, because that's what I created. I stated to myself when I started my business that these are my rules. I don't work weekends. I'm sorry, occasionally I do, but I don't work weekends. I want to do things my way, and that's part of creating your own business, a part of rocking your personal brand. Right, over to Lottie Moore. Lottie Moore is someone that I have known for 6 years now.
Wow, is it 6 years?
Those years have flown.
Blimey.
I'm going to get her to explain how we met, because I think it'd be really good to hear from you. I have watched you grow, and Lottie offers an incredible approach to mindset. So there are amazing coaches that do what Lottie does in a way, but what Lottie does is she embraces something that is so powerful, and I have done this with you. I've done all of the different, apart from one thing.
Not all of it,
still on the list.
Almost.
So I have firewalked, I have arrow braked. I can't believe you got me to do that. That was incredible, because I have a thing about my throat.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
A lot, especially women, because most of us were strangled in a previous life, weren't we?
And it's a very personal, private area as well.
It feels very vulnerable, doesn't it? So I've arrow braked, I've walked on glass. The last thing I haven't done is done a sweat lodge with you, but one day.
Or broken a concrete block.
Oh, for goodness
Or
sake.
bent rebar with your throat.
Okay, I'm behind the times. So these are the things that Lottie Moore does when she takes her training into corporates, to small groups, to groups of women, groups of men, midsummer night, whatever it is. These are the sort of experience you have with this amazing lady. She is one of the very few Akashanis.
Sakahanis.
The letters were in my head. Few Sakahanis in the world. 20 of you?
25 at the moment.
25 expert firewalker trainers. And Lottie has got an ethical. So a lot of people do firewalking. Tony Robbins does firewalking. Yeah, right. It's like, you know, it's like the plastic version of firewalking. It's not really done properly with the true meaning and purpose of it. It's not valuing what the essence of firewalking is, which comes from Native America.
Well, actually, for firewalking, it comes from all the kind of traditional groups you will find all around the globe. Firewalking historically is found all around the world.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. So let's just really quickly, if you could just run over how we met, because I think that's quite a funny story.
Yeah. So Joe and I met on a workshop with a woman called Laurel Rond, and we were doing a workshop about how to speak. We thought how to do public speaking, I think. But actually it was all about connecting with your voice, finding your voice. It was hugely impactful. It was a series of 3 workshops, and I actually lost my voice in between those workshops. I don't know if you remember.
I do remember.
But I think it was really instrumental actually to us finding our inner voice. So not just about standing up, speaking to cameras, speaking on stage, but about reflecting our inner authentic us, using our voice and using our bodies and everything else. So that we were little mousy wallflowers.
We were.
Starting our own businesses. Gosh, look at us now.
I know. We can't shut up, can we?
Yeah, I know.
Get us on TV, get us on big stages.
Yeah.
You've just had a big event, haven't you? But yeah, so I remember one of the key takeaways of that amazing event was you need to claim back your voice.
Yeah.
And we'd given our voices away. You'd given your voice away in your personal situation. In your relationship, if you don't mind sharing.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I had given my voice away in my to my mother, who I had, you know, allowed her to take my voice away from me. So we got back our voices that day, and that was the start of it. So Laurel, we need
Thank
to,
you,
we
Laurel.
need to seriously treat that lady to a phenomenal supper or something one day.
We need to get Laurel doing a carpool karaoke. I've been wanting to slip that in the whole time.
I'm warming up to it, Lottie. Not quite. I had a carpool karaoke. I can't even say it. You have to say it for me. Okay, Lottie, right, enough about that. So that was how we met, and I'm so glad we did, because onwards and upwards, we've certainly had not a smooth ride, but, you know, we've been with each other, and you're with me now, right, because one of my daughter's suffering from something personal, physical, that what your daughter has gone through too.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
that's incredible how our journeys are. I
absolutely.
love watching your so Lottie Moore, what has your journey been about for you?
For me, in the last 5-6 years, we're talking,
To get to the stage of where your business is now, and you as a personal brand, what has been to the core of all that?
I think it's 2 or 3 things. You know, first of all, it was really connecting with my authentic self. So when I first started in business, especially when I was working with small businesses, stuff like that, I tried to dress in a certain way that I thought the businesses would anticipate me to look. So I've really gone back to reconnecting with what's authentic and finding a way to look like me, but also be appropriate for that business venue, audience. Also for me, it was about getting authentic with business. So for a long time, I was all about helping people, you know, not charging my worth, giving things away for free, stuff like that. Whereas now I've got much more business focused, and I'm much more comfortable with charging my worth and being, you know, business driven, successful business driven, not just a face on social media.
Yeah, brilliant. So it's really true, isn't it? Because it's it was very easy for you to create a service of what you do, what you love. Obviously, firewalking is what it is. But you know, it's been, I should imagine, it was quite challenging to make a good business model out of that you can go and pitch to. Hello, the MOD.
Yeah, well, that's really helped. I mean, the MOD over the last 3 years has probably been my biggest client, and that has really helped, because a lot of people, when they think about the activities that I offer, they think of it as maybe a circus trick and not something that can be impactful. So I think to be able to say things like, you know, with the MOD, it starts to grow the recognition of actually when these things are delivered by me as a mindset expert, and I bring it into that mindset field, that's when the change happens. So you could firewalk with somebody else, maybe a charity firewalk, something like that, and it's just a bit of a trick. It's just an adventure sport. But when you bring in those mindset issues that underlie it, what we create is something that just takes people to the next level.
And yeah, tell me about that. So the transformation, I had a phenomenal transformation when I did it with you. All of the different things I've done with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a fear of fire, so firewalking for me was just so wrong on so many levels of my conscious self. But I remember you saying, this is about what's inside of you and how strong and incredibly powerful we are as humans. Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, so I work very authentically to the ways of the indigenous people. So it's all about connecting with the elements of the earth, the fire, the wood that's going to build the fire. So you're very connected with that fire before you get anywhere near putting a foot on it. And then we'll go through the session about people pinpointing really what they want to leave on the fire. You know, what behaviours don't serve you anymore, what beliefs don't serve you anymore. Leave those on the fire, and finally setting an intention into that as you're walking across. What are you going to take forward into the next year, into that next aspect of your life? You know, if you can walk on fire, what can't you do? But you have to be intentional about setting an anchor with that so that you can call on it when you need it as you go forward.
So it's being, again, that word purposeful, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I remember I had a very specific intention, but I definitely left something on the fire, and I'm getting fuzzy feelings thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because I remember writing that letter. I can picture myself now in that classroom before we went out. And it was so powerful.
Yeah.
And actually it resonated for weeks and months after.
Cool.
Do you hear that a lot?
All the time. And you know, it's really interesting to see people kind of 2 years down the line from doing a firewalk, and you can just see the difference in them. And it's the same with businesses as well. You know, some people think, oh, it's just individuals getting woo-woo down in the woods, but I see the impact it has, especially on kind of small to medium-sized businesses. And you know, firewalking, all these activities, they're very leveling. You know, a CEO will shit a brick just the same as the postmaster will, you know, in a business. Yeah. It's all the same. So it brings everybody together as part of a team in a very unique way.
And that's very powerful for an organisation like the MOD.
Yeah.
Or the police. I mean, are you doing the police yet?
Not yet.
Right, leave
Not
that with
yet.
me, obviously.
Yeah.
I'll do some tagging when I post this.
But at the moment, I'm loving working with like the small to medium-sized businesses, because what happens then is I can really see the impact. I can see the difference it makes. And when you get into the really big organisations, I love it, and you can maybe see the difference in one particular department that you've worked in, but it's more difficult to track statistically the difference it has made.
I'm sure. I'm just thinking, you know, from a management point of view, you know, because, you know, I had quite a lot of problems in the police and they weren't dealt with on the internal front.
Yeah.
And I do quite a lot of talking about that now, actually, which
Right.
is interesting, about being
We should
brave.
talk.
We should talk after this. We're gonna, you know, you've earned your coffee.
Karaoke. Sorry.
It's going to catch on. I can see the hashtag now. So we should have talk. But you know, I think, gosh, if the managers, because organisations like that, any of the real kind of, you know, the traditional organisations, but been around for sort of almost centuries in a form. You know, these businesses have grown and grown and grown, and they've got this terrible authoritarian structure.
Yeah.
And you take those top tier people and you give them that, like you say, levelling experience, because everyone's got their stuff to deal with. And just because they're getting paid all that money and they've got that responsibility, they'll have stuff to deal with like anyone.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
If you get those people in a happy place where they really feel like they've got, you know, they can reflect on their emotions, they can communicate in a true, authentic way, they're the sort of people that can really make a huge difference.
And not just counting down the days to retirement as well. You know, I was talking to a friend who works in recruitment the other week, and she was saying the average cost of recruiting just one member of a team is at least a third of that person's income. So a lot of businesses, they don't want to invest in this stuff. They'd rather go clay pigeon shooting for 20 quid a head, or for their team building. But what happens is the people don't feel invested in. They just want out at the soonest possible.
It's a feel-good factor today, isn't it?
And with the millennials now as well, the average employment term is 18 months. They stay in a job 18 months and then they leave. So companies are having to pay a third of their income every 18 months. That you want to keep your teams, your staff happy.
Crazy statistics.
Yeah.
That's just money down the drain.
Absolutely.
Why aren't they looking after their staff?
Yeah.
Well, I think mental health, health awareness, all that is really building, isn't it, in corporate? So recognising at last, unfortunately, we've had to get to this terrible place.
Yeah.
Before they start doing something.
Yeah, absolutely.
So so fantastic. And I would like you to share, if you wouldn't mind, with anyone watching today. So very likely to be SMEs, founders of small businesses.
Yeah.
And possibly people that aren't quite rocking their personal brand. They are doing something that's really good, but they're not quite tuning in to who they truly are. So what advice would you give to someone who's in that funny place where they're doing okay, but...
Yeah. I think for that type of thing, it's got to be very similar to what I offer. It's not top of people's list when they think of investing in their business. They want to invest in getting the website. They want to invest in getting the social media, all these things. And it falls down the list. And it's the same with what I offer. But the reality is when you get it right, it just grows your work phenomenally. Everywhere I go now... if I speak at an event, even if it's just a little networking event or something like that, I'm getting bookings off the back of it. Yeah, and I believe it's just because I look authentic, I'm comfortable, I'm happy. So when I stand up to speak or something like that, I'm relaxed, I'm happy. It shows and it spreads, So it's totally worth the investment. I would say totally worth the investment. And it also means that I can get away with buying cheaper clothes. We were just talking, weren't we, about TK Maxx sale rail, the orange stickers, because I know what suits me, I can go to that rail and just pick out things that are often like rock bottom prices, but still look really, really good, and feel good. And I think it just radiates out. Worth so much more than a social media investment. Take my word for it.
Definitely, and you're right. So I call it the expression. So your personal brand is your essence, your experience, your expression.
Yeah.
So the social media, the website, that's all your expression of your brand.
Yeah. And
your personal brand, obviously, they sit side by side, brand and personal brand. But your essence, who you are, and I hope you don't mind me saying, but I've seen you get so comfortable now. I remember you going through that wobbly stage, which is actually phenomenally healthy. To go through that wobbly stage where you're thinking, can I really do this? Can I go to the MOD, to these incredible men and women that are ruling, running and coordinating incredible, defence systems and just off the scale sort of responsibility those people have, and you're going to say, oh, come and do a firewall. And I remember us having a conversation about this. You're saying, well, I'm still getting used to it. It feels a little bit, oh crikey, it's just little me. I remember you saying that, and now I can see your energy, and you're so connected, and I love the word you said, comfortable.
Yeah, little me fills the stage now.
Right.
I know it, and I'm still 5'2" and a bit.
Sure. I think you're 15 foot 2.
But I stand out in a crowd. I know. Do you remember how much I worried about letting my hair go grey?
I do.
And stuff like this. Now I just love it. I love,
It's authentic. It's you.
Yeah.
And that's what you're all about, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So it all adds up. And now when you do a LinkedIn post, everyone
Stand
goes
out.
nuts.
Ping.
Everyone goes nuts. You get all these incredible people of huge companies responding, engaging with your conversation because we want to hear what you've got to say.
Yeah.
And that's what comes across in you. And I am super proud of you.
Thank you.
So
thank you. Well, I couldn't have done it without your support. So thank you back at you.
No, pleasure. It really is. And I will look forward to watching you go. So just very quickly as we come to 20 minutes, which is the length these interviews are going to be. So what would you, where are you going now? Lottie Moore, what's your plan for next?
My plan is to just keep doing what I'm doing, rinse and repeat. I feel really confident in what I'm doing. I'm on a double your income thing again for next year. So
Brilliant.
I've done that the last 2 years as well.
Brilliant.
And just get into more organisations and keep loving what I'm doing. Yeah.
Such a difference. I can see it
Yeah.
in your face, you
Thank
glow,
you.
and hopefully you all have seen what this amazing powerhouse of 5'2" Lottie Moore is all about. So look her up, Mindset Metaphors,
Yeah.
Lottie Moore. There's only one Lottie Moore.
Yeah, and I do love connecting on LinkedIn, as Joe said. So look me up on LinkedIn and connect there as well.
Yeah.
Very welcome to.
Great. Get in touch if you'd like to find out anything about this interview or about Lottie. I'd love to help. But look her up on LinkedIn, connect with her. And if you haven't done a fire walk, really, I promise you, one of the most monumental things to do, because when we start with repairing what stuff is going on the inside and we work on that, we just get better and bigger on the outside.
Yeah.
So work on it. Have a great time. My first rock star interview, or AKA carpool
Karaoke.
Thanks for that, Lottie. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye, everyone.